Okay, we're gonna take a look at this wiring issue that developed during that test drive, and hopefully we can find out how far that scorched wire went, and then determine what the best corrective measure would be. As you can see, it's pretty cooked along the back, and we got a broken wire there. It's possible that that broken wire is what caused an issue with it not running. You also see that the wires at the starter are pretty fried. It's not good. Oh. And it's going into the harness there. It looks pretty cooked. So let me see where. I'm gonna get on the other side here. Oh, let's get on the other side. Battery's still hooked up. All right. Okay. So, well, I don't see. Oh yeah, there's some scorching on that wire. Pull that air cleaner off. Okay. Well, I don't see much evidence of scorching farther on. Let's check up front. See any issues there. Get on the other side. Don't see anything there. I got wires going all over the place here. Those look like speaker wires. Okay. I'm not seeing anything fried. We do still have an issue with the horn. All right, so I'm not seeing anything fried up here. So it's very possible that the damage could be limited to the engine compartment, which is good news, I guess. I'm not seeing anything there. So I think what I'm going to do, pull that air cleaner off for a little bit more action, a little more access, and then start stripping that harness back that's taped up in the back there to see just how far those wires go. And let's see how far the damage goes, see how much we have to fix. Okay, we got that section of the harness cut out and laid out on the top of a piece of steel here. And some of our sun went away. It was bright a little bit before. But this is the lug that goes on the starter. And you can see it's just totally fried. That seems to be the main wire that's smoked. And when it finally broke that connection, that's when we got our engine shut off. And that is the wire that goes to one of the main terminals of the horn relay. So my current theory is that we know we had a loose wire under the dash somewhere that was turning on the horn intermittently. We had the horn working, and then all of a sudden it quit working, and we just kind of bypassed it, which, looking back, was a mistake. So I think what's happened is that that loose wire for the horn engaged the horn relay. The same, excuse me, the same thing that would cause that horn to stay on would cause the horn relay to stay on. Of course, your horn is disconnected at this point, and you wouldn't hear anything, obviously. But if that horn relay is engaged continuously, then it's going to smoke that wire, that main wire that's going there. This is just a trigger. And so that is my current theory, is that that loose wire for the horn, somewhere into the dash, I believe, is causing the issue. Now, if I was smart, instead of just disconnecting the horn, I should have disconnected the horn relay connection as well, and then troubleshot the horn later. So there's a little lesson about blowing off stuff to a later date. Sometimes it ends up demanding your attention. But none of the other wires are showing any kind of excessive heat, except where they came in contact with this one. And that is pretty much it. I had to disconnect the voltage regulator to get keep the rest of that harness in there. So we are going to make another harness of these pieces here and reinstall it and do some more troubleshooting on the horn system. Okay, this is the engine wiring harness that we pulled out. We've stripped off almost all of that tape that was burnt, fried. Wanted to take a good close look at these wires, and clearly the main wire, main red wire that went from the starter lug, which has power all the time, up to the horn relay, broke right in the middle, and then that's basically what shut off the engine. So you can see the wire's burnt all the way. It burnt off all the insulation, almost all the way up. It's just really fried. And so that's what connects on to one of these two terminals here at the horn relay. We went ahead and bought another horn relay just in case. We wanted to check the measurement, the resistance across there, and it looks like the old one's good, so we're going to use that one. But since we're working with a horn relay, I wanted to show you the part number. This is from O'Reilly, part number 16129. They had some problems looking it up. They had to go by the SKU number, which I don't have handy here, but it was listed in their catalog and available at their hub, their main distribution center. So anyway, that's something I'm going to put on a harness, another harness that I make later. Right now I'm kind of challenged on time. I need to replace this, make a replacement wiring harness for this section only, but I also would like to try to understand this wiring harness and how it compares with the wiring diagrams that are published for these vans, because sometimes they are kind of confusing. And the other thing that I did that I shouldn't have is I cut the wires going into the rest of the harness to the horn relay. This is the one that comes from, the black one is what comes from the horn button, and the green one is what goes to the horn itself. So this is the circuit that I'm gonna have to end up chasing down. I believe that's an issue with under the hood wiring. So, and the cause of this problem, this burnt problem here. Anyway, something that came immediately I noticed was this one wire here was different from all the rest. It's got a braid on it instead of a regular type of insulation. And at first I thought that was resistor wire, but now after measuring the resistance on that wire, it's normal. It's just a regular wire that seems to be like have a heat coating on it, like you know, something that withstands high temperature. I've had a few other spools of wire that I bought, well, one specifically that was designed for high temperature, and it looks a lot like this one. So I don't know why they would want to have just this one wire hooked up to, you know, hooked up to the relay. But this is a wire that is identified on the wiring harness as, where is it? Well, it goes all the way up here. White or purple, you know, it goes all the way down over and then comes over here. They don't mention the color over here, so you got to run it all the way back. It's one of the issues I have with these wiring diagrams. And so obviously that's a white wire. And another thing that can be confusing is other wires that come off and go to the relay are also purple, you know, go figure. And then this one goes to the neutral safety switch, which on the first gens would only be like on the automatic, the power glide equipped models. And this one is also, you follow it along, and it's a purple wire. So looking at this diagram, you could have, you know, 3 purple wires coming off the starter going, and they would be going to different locations. This is nuts. This, you know, this is no bueno. I don't like that. And it's one of the reasons why I'm trying to get a handle on this and make simplified wiring diagrams. Now, this is just an early version. I wanted to bring it out here to help me work on this one harness here. So that wiring diagram will get updated and changed. I'm going to try to make it very simple to follow so that there's not a lot of confusion, no extra wires that you don't have to deal with if you're trying to troubleshoot something in the engine compartment. But I wanted to also point out something that was really strange. I didn't really like the way this thing was laid out, is that white or purple wire, which in this case is white, goes to this connection, then you follow it over to the other one, and on the other side of that connector it changes color. Thanks a lot, guys. So now you got pink, white, or purple. You know, can we just like get a rainbow effect wire going on here? I mean, it's nuts. Anyway, this is the kind of thing that is going to run somebody a little bit more frustrated than they need to be when they're doing wiring, especially guys like me. Now, another thing that I noticed was on the other side, it had 2 wires, a purple wire and a blue wire. So that is on this end right here, even though there shows no red wire going off of there. It shows us 2 purple wires, and one of them is supposed to go to the neutral safety switch. Well, I don't know about that. Now, first I thought, well, you got this connector that is aftermarket. Somebody has, you know, added that, so they probably added that wire. But you follow this wire off, and it's in the harness, and the telltale is that, I mean, that looks like it's stock, like it was originally equipped with this. And so it looks to me that there's a blue wire that there's no identification for it. And it's just, I don't know, kind of confusing. So anyway, we're going to figure this out as much as possible. We're going to try to update these harnesses, or excuse me, these wiring diagrams so that they're easy to follow, especially anybody that happens to run into this kind of problem. And in the meantime, we're just going to go ahead and build a small harness to replace what's going on. As far as this extra wire, this blue wire, we are just going to leave that for later. In other words, we're just going to make another one, and we're also going to duplicate that color code and then save this harness, so that we're basically just going to, you know, figure that out another day. And in the meantime, we'll just replace that wire, hook it up the way it was. And as far as this braided wire, I am going to reuse that. That thing is still in really good shape. I cleaned that up, and even though there was a lot of heat going on with that wire because of this burn right next to it, I mean, it is still in excellent shape. There's not a single break or mark on that wire. So I'm not going to replace that with an inferior one that I have. I'm just going to reuse this. And anyway, that's my plan. And we'll put this thing on time lapse if we can get it positioned over our workbench where we do the electronics. So anyway, thanks for going along with the ride.